You're hunting it, ain't you? Yeah, you're hunting it all right. Just like me.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Deflated Bongo, and my partner in horror movie stuff.
Scraps.
Yeah, that's him. That's us. We're the Gore Goblins back again for the fourth time talking about Halloween 4,
Woo.
which is, I think, that's one of your favorites, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm
where
gonna
I
let
started with Halloween.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and kick off the episode by telling us how you feel about Halloween 4 and your memories with it, because I know you watched it when you were a little kid. George, please don't meow. Sorry, that was my cat. But yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead and kickstart this episode since you know more about it than I do.
Well, like you said, Halloween 4 is just everything that started me for liking horror movies, basically, really. Because they would come on TV when I had cable for the first times and started seeing all the Halloween movie marathons and whatnot. And I'd always catch Halloween 4 and 5 for some reason. That was the ones they showed the most. I don't know why, but they did. But yeah, it just has a lot of good nostalgic memories for me. Just sitting there every night watching it over and over again because they'd play it more than once. But yeah, the movie gets flack for being, I guess, a cash grabby thing just because nobody really gave a shit after what the first one really.
The second one, I think.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think that's more of a recent attitude towards the movie because at the time, it broke a lot of fucking like box office records. Because I've read about this one, and then after we watched Halloween 3 last week, I went and watched some of the special features for that. And one of the producers was talking about how, like, man, excluding Michael was like the worst business decision we ever made. He's like, I don't know whose fucking idea that was. He's like, but it wasn't me. He's like, and that's the worst decision we ever made. We should have just kept Michael in.
Yep.
He's like, and just done that. So I think
Yep.
that's obviously why this one very proudly proclaims the return of Michael Myers as its subtitle.
Yep.
And that's why at the time it was very successful. You know, it came out 10th anniversary of the first one, and it was super successful. And I you know, this is the first time I've watched it all the way through because previously I just like would see clips on YouTube or occasionally catch it during like a Halloween marathon on AMC or some shit. This is the first time I watched it all the way through. Yeah, it was all right. I think it. I think it kept kind of the spirit of the original to an extent because you had that. I really like that opening sequence, especially where it's just those like those shots of like these weird fucking scarecrows and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not the Halloween theme. It's just this weird like droning ambient music, and I think it sets the tone pretty well. The plot's a little goofy, but that's just because like I don't know, Michael and Loomis were supposed to die in Halloween 2.
And I think it's because it's trying to kind of mimic the first movie in a way. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of shit throughout the movie that kind of shows they're paying some homage to the first one.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got from it for sure. This one doesn't feel like a cash grab to me. This one feels like
They tried.
they actually gave a shit. Yeah, and that was and let me see who directed this one. It was
Wasn't it still Mustafa?
Dwight H. Little. Mustafa is the producer. He produced it still. He was because John Carpenter at this point was like, I'm not coming back.
He had no credits except the music.
I'm pretty sure he sold the rights to Mustafa, I think, is what happened. Because I remember reading about that back when I first started getting into slasher movies. I read up on like the history of a lot of these different franchises, and I'm pretty sure John Carpenter and Deborah Hill both just sold the rights to Mustafa and said, "Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care about Michael anymore. I don't want anything to do with him anymore because I already wrote my story about him. So do whatever." But there's still like some respect that I feel is given. I think the mask is doofy. It's not as bad as in the later movies, especially in 5, but we'll get to that one. But in 4, I mean, it's not a terrible looking mask. It just looks kind of plain. Like, and I guess that's the point. Honestly, I kind of liked Michael with the bandages over his face at the beginning when he kills that. By the way, spoilers, I guess, for a almost 40-year-old movie.
Yeah.
but but I kind of liked how he looked like when he kills that guy at the mechanic shop, and he's just in his little jumpsuit, that his iconic jumpsuit that he's able to find everywhere he goes.
Well, he didn't have it when he killed the first guy.
Yeah.
He was still in his hospital shit.
Oh yeah, in the ambulance, right? Yeah. But I like that look. I like that look of him with the bandages. It reminds me of Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight Returns. There's something just, I guess, creepy about a dude just walking around with bandages on his head.
When I saw it, it just kind of made me think about Jason with just the sack over his head.
Yeah, it's not like what you remember him for, but it's still a cool look, I think. But then he gets his mask later on, and it's not like the mask, but it's literally like a substitute, because he takes it from a mask store or like a drugstore, right? That's just selling Halloween stuff. And I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It's not as bad as like I said in Halloween 5 or Halloween Resurrection. But it's still like, I don't know. It's not terrible, is my point. But I do miss that iconic like Shatner mask from the first 2 movies, even if it looked kind of weird in the second one. But yeah, no. Overall, I mean, I thought it was all right. The music was good. I don't know how much of it was John Carpenter, because I don't know. I know he wrote the music, but I don't think he really. I don't think he did the score. I don't know who did the score, but like the use of the music was pretty all right. I liked it more than Halloween 2 as far as that goes, because it doesn't sound as weird as it doesn't sound as off. As
I didn't like
Halloween 2.
2's music at all that much.
So it's got that going for it too. But yeah, it's I was surprised. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I liked it a lot. That was my Alexa speaker, so that's I forgot to turn it off. that's fine.
This is the quality we give you. People.
It's all listen, unfiltered, unedited. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, do you have any like specific memories with this one, Justin, that like you remember when you were like a kid? Like any scenes that like really freaked you out when you were younger or anything?
Well, most of the time when I would catch the movie, it would kind of already be like started, so I would miss the beginning a lot of the times, because that'd be when I came home from school and shit, elementary school.
Yeah.
And I think that's also what like made me connect with it, because I guess at the same time I was watching it, I was like the same age as Jamie is in the movie, so I was like, oh, this is fucking freaky. And I remember it. I always go to bed too and like look out my window. Like,
so Michael, you were looking for Michael,
just
out
being
there.
a paranoid motherfucker.
That's another thing I liked, is that what I mean when I say it paid homage is that you had a lot of those POV shots of Michael kind of creeping around, and then you had like different shots that were just direct homages, like when Jamie's looking out the window at the beginning and she sees the ambulance and then it disappears, is pretty similar to Lori looking out the window at school and seeing the Michael standing outside of the car and then it disappearing when she looks again. That being said, the acting was pretty okay, especially Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd. That's been said before, though, that she's actually a good child actor, especially in this one. Like she was actually crying and shit when she had to. None of it felt like fake, I guess. Donald Pleasance is back as a very old and very crotchety Loomis.
And that's a good thing too. Like I like how he's aging the character. Also, he's not just coming back with the same performance as last time. He keeps it fresh.
Yeah,
which I really appreciate from him.
And he's got like that makeup burn on his face, which that's why like that's why it feels weird to me, because like he blew up, like that room exploded. Like I can understand Michael being in a coma, because at this point we're getting the vibe that he's not really a human, but Loomis very much is a human, and he was just like I got just like this burn mark on my face, my hand's fucked up, my leg, I guess, but other than that, I'm good. I'm solid. I'm all right. I'm Dr. Loomis, bitch. But yeah, he was great as always. He's honestly like one of the best things about the movies in general is Dr. Loomis. Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis, I mean. And Michael was, he was Michael. He was he did a lot of the slow walking, that he tends to do.
We never got a head tilt though. I was
Yeah,
disappointed about
yeah.
that.
So there's a part where he stabs old what's her name, the blonde chick with that was wearing the cops do it by the book shirt. He stabs her with a shotgun, which the logistics of that are kind of insane, but
It's Michael.
it's Michael. He's super strong. But
He shoved his thumb through a dude's head in the beginning.
He shoved his thumb through a dude's head at the beginning. Yeah, the dude's super strong. That by the way, let me veer off to talk about that for a second. That actually got me because like jump scares usually don't get me anymore, and I already knew this was gonna happen. Like I knew he was gonna die. And because I've seen the clip of him doing it, but for some reason when we were watching it, like, was there even a music cue? I don't even think there was a music cue with it. Was it?
It made it, but it was like they were kind of right together with each other. They were right together.
So yeah, like he just fucking like the doctor's just like fucking who cares? He's in a coma, and then like Michael just grabs him, and I actually jumped up like God damn it, that fucking got me. Fuck. And then yeah, he just stabs his thumb through his forehead, and but yeah, so that's how strong he is. So he stabs this girl with a fucking double barrel shotgun, and
sticks her to the wall.
He sticks her to the wall, which you think, okay, now he's gonna do the head tilt, and it's like he almost did it, but then he just walks away, and I'm just like, come on, man! Like if you're gonna pay homage to that scene with what's his name, what was it? I always forget it. Bob. Was it Bob? It was Bob. If you're gonna pay homage to that scene with Bob in the first one, at least fucking make him do the head tilt. But yeah, no head tilt. Even when he was like ripping Brady's jaw off or whatever the fuck he did.
He was just smashing his face.
He was smashing his face in, yeah. Even when he was doing that, I was expecting like a head tilt, but nope, we didn't get any of that. But outside of that, I mean, he was Michael. It very much felt like the first one because he was driving around and shit. He's just driving around and hunting down a relative because Jamie is Laurie's daughter, which I guess if you're gonna make a sequel to Halloween, that's like the logical step because I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to come back because she was too busy doing whatever she was doing, making True Lies or whatever. She was in True Lies, right? I might be wrong about. I might be getting her mixed up. Whatever. I like movies, but I forget stuff sometimes.
She's in Freaky Friday. I know that.
Freaky Friday. Yeah, that's several years down the road though. But yeah. So I mean, I guess if you're gonna try to continue that storyline, because this is before the age of like, hey, let's just remake it or let's ignore past events. So I guess that's like the logical thing is just make it Laurie's daughter. And I mean, yeah, I mean, it works.
I mean, you could give it that's a kind of weird story point to go through, and they do state it in the movie too. Like, how would he know that that's Jamie's daughter? He's never seen her.
Yeah,
and I don't really fully understand how he pieces all it together. I mean, he finds pictures that Jamie has of like Laurie and for some reason Child Michael.
Yeah, Child Michael in his little clown outfit is just hanging out. I guess right before he killed his fucking sister, which is funny to me. Like, it's just funny that picture exists.
Yeah,
I don't know. And why would you keep it? Like, after what happened, why would you be like, yeah, I want to remember the day that my daughter was murdered by her brother?
Because how would Laurie have had that too? Unless she did some like in between digging and whatever, but there's a lot of shit that's just left up in the air.
There's a lot of stuff that you got to infer for sure, yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he finds the pictures because he goes to. But how does he know where she lives and stuff? Like, I mean, it's just standard like.
Well, at that point, he was following Loomis.
That's right. Yeah. But I mean, you give it the benefit of the doubt because you don't go see these movies for the plot. You go see it for the kills and
the character
and the characters and stuff. Yeah, you don't go watch it thinking like, oh, I can't wait to see this multi-layered epic about Michael Myers and his family. No, you don't. I don't think anybody does that. But speaking of the kills, yeah, they were good. I mean, the best one is the good old boy getting his head ripped off in the truck while he's driving.
Yeah.
Which again was kind of funny seeing Michael because at this point Michael's just like a fucking like Terminator, um, and it's real funny to see him do that. To see his growth from just being like a dude with a mask in the first movie to slowly just becoming like this unstoppable like fucking tank of a man, and he's definitely bulkier in this one too. It looked like
That bothered me. Like,
it should.
because I don't know if they couldn't find like a big enough guy to play him or something, but he looked like unnecessarily puffy in some scenes, like they put like padding on his shoulders or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, he looks
I mean,
real.
I
looks
could
like a
give
fucking football player.
I could give if they try to like interpret, told the dude like give yourself a little stiff motion because you know you've been in a bed for like years and your skin's all burned and shit. I could give it that, but you'd have to really sit there and think about that. Is this why he's portraying Michael this way or not? But I mean, his movements were weird and awkward at times. It kind of took away from the scariness a bit and just made him look kind of funny. But I mean, I still like it.
Yeah, I think. I mean, there's that line that deputy says where he's like, oh, even if like Michael survived, even if he's conscious, like he wouldn't be able to move, his muscles wouldn't work, and you know, and then Loomis is just like, well, he's not a man, he's not a human, and you know, so I don't know. There's obviously some supernatural element in there, but then at that point, you got him feeling a lot like Jason, which I think is a major complaint. Was a complaint at the time was that he felt too much like Jason, because you know Jason's a real big bulky boy going around just eviscerating people without a single care in the world.
Yep.
And Michael is doing the same thing, riding on top of the tops of trucks and ripping dudes' heads off. But it was a good kill. At that, I also like that aspect of of just a bunch of good old boys just hunting down Michael because they're like, we ain't letting it happen like it did 10 years ago, and they accidentally fucking kill some random dude. that's just so fucked up. That like, and it all starts because one of them tries to call the cops, and then it's like it just keeps ringing. Ain't nobody just leaves a phone ringing at a police station.
Yeah.
And then, and that's because Michael just wiped them all out.
Fucking turned a police station into Splatterhouse.
See, but why did he do like? I guess to keep the cops off of him. I guess would be the.
This movie kind of gives Michael a little bit more logic to what he's doing. It kind of makes it seems like he's planning everything out from when he first leaves the gas station to like everything he does in town up to that point.
He definitely feels more methodical in this one. But like there are also so many moments where he just could have snatched Jamie away and then he doesn't. Like in the store, he was already there. All he had to do was just boop, bye-bye.
Well, it's his ritual. He's got a toy with his victim, you know.
That's a good point. He only really posed the one body, huh? I guess two technically if we count the girl that got stabbed with the shotgun. Well, he didn't like pose him up all like
all fancy like.
All fancy, but yeah, he left him like there's the mechanic that he chained up that Loomis found. And Loomis was like, "Oh, I like that little speech, by the way, that Loomis gives when he first sees Michael with the bandages on his head, and he's like, just take me. He's like, just take me if you want another victim." But his delivery of "God damn you" always like bothers me for some reason because it's just like I don't know, it's just so like fucking dramatic, which I guess is at this point Loomis's character. Because he's going insane, but it's I do like that whole little section, but yeah, I mean it's I forgot what I was talking about before I went on this tangent, but that doesn't matter because I'll go on another one eventually, I'm sure.
We were just talking about Michael's planning of everything.
Oh yeah, how Michael's just real methodical in this one, and how it's not as random as it feels in other movies. Because like even in the second one, to an extent, it felt kind of random, but I guess not really because he was like making a beeline to the hospital. But that first one felt random, which is why I like that first one because he doesn't have any planning behind it outside of just hey, I just want to kill people. And in this one, I mean, he still does that. Like he kills the mechanic, he kills the woman behind the counter in the little restaurant, smashes the phone.
Yeah.
That way Loomis can't call for help.
I mean, I appreciate that because it kind of makes you stick to the whole maybe he's not all like super powered and whatever, he's still a methodical human trying to think all this through and whatnot. So it
Yeah.
kind of like tries to give you a balance of this fucking unstoppable monster and this just mass serial killer dude trying to do what he wants
Yeah.
and not get stopped. And
Yeah.
they keep track of Michael through this entire movie pretty much. Like you don't ever just see him like, oh, he was here, now he's here, and you kind of see how he gets from where he does.
Yeah, there's no teleporting, like with Jason in the Friday the 13th movies. There's no teleporting. Like he rides in the back of a police car at one point. He doesn't even kill the dude, like because that's what I was expecting. I was expecting him to kill the guy and then take the car, but no, he just rides in the back and gets in the house for that last like little bit.
And that's a good thing too, because I mean, what is 10 years have passed since 2, so.
Yeah.
Of course, Haddonfield has changed, so he doesn't know where the fuck he's going.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's not the same town. Yeah, yeah. It's a good. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that makes sense actually. But
He
yeah,
never got a shot on Myers' house either in this one.
Yeah, yeah, because he doesn't care about his house in this one. He only cares about his little niece Jamie, and yeah, like he'll like I think it culminates in him, or it I don't think I know it culminates in him like he chases them like pretty much out of town because they're in that truck when he's on top of it,
Yeah.
doing his thing, and then like the state troopers come and find him after after Rachel runs him over. Which who played Rachel? Hold on, that was let me do a little.
Yeah, while you find that, yeah, I really liked Rachel as a character. She was always my favorite, and like going through puberty and shit and finding girls attractive for the first time. I always liked looking at her. As weird as that is.
That was Ellie Cornell, yeah, as Rachel. Yeah, she did good. She was good. She was a good final girl, kind of.
It's
Yeah,
like she didn't
was a
really
good
try
final
to
girl.
be another Laurie. She
Yeah.
put herself into what she was.
She was her own separate character, and I appreciate that for sure. But yeah, Rachel runs him over, and then all these cops show up and just like blast the fuck out of Michael into like I guess a mining shaft.
Oh well.
A well. Those are the same thing. I'm gonna pretend those are the same thing. And then like it feels like every one of these movies gives itself a definitive ending, and then they just make a sequel. Because one has that open ending of him being shot out of the window, and then he's
disappearing.
gone, and then disappearing. And then 2 has him dying, more or less. I mean, the man's face was melting away. And then he's not in 3. And then in this one, he gets shot into a fucking well, into oblivion. And then you think everything's happy and fun, and then we get a nice callback to the very first shot of the first movie, where it's a POV shot of somebody in a little clown outfit, grabbing a sharp object and killing somebody, and it's Jamie dressed in, and I thought that was kind of funny too, how the outfit that she picked was Michael's outfit. And then I think she like there's one point where she like sees Michael's like reflection when he's a child when she's looking in the mirror or something.
Yeah.
And so she picks that outfit. So like I guess you could kind of tell they were setting that up, or just setting up the idea that like, oh yeah, they're related. See, haha, they like the same clown.
Evil travels a generation.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And so she kills Rachel's mom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she kills Rachel's mom, and then Loomis, I guess, hears it, and he goes upstairs and he sees her, and he's just selling it with this no, and he like tries to shoot her, and the cops stop him, and then you get this last shot of little Danielle Harris in a clown outfit, holding up a pair of bloody scissors, looking like the most adorable little serial killer you've ever seen in your life.
Yep.
And and that's how the movie ends, and that feels like a definitive ending too. But then this movie made a lot of money, and then they were like, "Well, let's make another one," and then they did. But yeah, that's another thing I wanted to talk about with this one too, was that this movie reminds me why I don't like kids, because there's that scene before Jamie decides that she wants to go trick or treating where she's at school, and all these kids are just being like complete assholes to her, like absolute little shits. Like they're like, "Oh, your mom's a mummy, Jamie," and I'm like, Jesus Christ,
She's dead.
that's fucking cold, man. That is rough.
Taunting her, Jamie's an orphan.
Like
Jamie's
that's,
an
that's so
orphan.
fucked up. Like I fucking would have killed somebody too. Shit. That would push me to the edge too. Yeah, that was I'm sorry. That just made me like that stuck out with me. But yeah, I hate kids. I hate kids so much, except for Jamie. She was the only good kid in the movie, but all the other ones can eat shit. I hate them. And I wrote down a couple of other notes. The one of them was that set of good old boys going out to hunt down and kill Michael, which we already kind of talked about. But I liked them because they were just doing their best, and they all died.
Yep.
They all fucking died. Like as soon as Michael could get the drop on them, which I guess he was hiding under the truck.
Yeah.
So
Pulled a I Know What You Did Last Summer.
yeah, he did that, and then he just murked him. And then another thing is that while he was killing Brady, there's a part where like Brady's screaming, and Michael's like choking him, and then Brady takes a second to spit blood out of his mouth so he can keep screaming. And like the way it's shot, it's like it's almost like the actor was like, "Oh, his fake blood's getting in the way.
Hold on.
Hold on a second, poo, ah!" Like and then he just starts screaming again. But I also wrote down the oinker line because that's a great part of the movie when Rachel's mom was like talking about what she was eating for breakfast or something.
Yeah, Rachel goes into the kitchen. All she gets is a piece of bread and something to put on it. And her mom's like, "That's not all you're eating for breakfast." She's like, "I'm on a diet, Mom. Do you want an oinker for a daughter?"
Like what a piece of dialogue. That's one thing I love about slasher movies, man. Is the dialogue is always just ridiculously cheesy.
Like
and,
the two specific times where the lines were just really stupid.
yeah.
Brady tries to shoot the lock off the door so they can get out.
Oh, it's metal.
Rachel's like, "What does that mean?"
What does that mean? And then yeah, when they're coming out of the school, and she's like, "Oh, he's in there. He's in there." And there's like, "Where? In the school?" Like where the fuck else would he be? Why would you ask that question? Like he's in there. Where? In the school? And then like Jamie's like, "He's gonna kill y'all too. Don't go in there." But that was a big mistake because then they all died anyway. Also, Michael like throws Loomis through like a fucking door in that scene, and I guess Loomis just makes his way out.
Did you notice the mask looked kind of weirder too in that scene?
Yeah, like it looked like it had like
all the
blonde
hair was white. and
Yeah,
shit.
it was weird. That was because there's another. That's why I'm like, oh, that can't be Michael. That's a different mask. But no, it was him. There's that one scene too. I also liked how the movie kind of had like naturally, like this is something the Scream movies do. Is like it kind of touches on the fact that like all these fucking dork ass kids are gonna play practical jokes every year, and that's exactly what happens in this movie where you got like those 3 or 4 kids that pretend to be Michael Myers, and then like Loomis points a gun at one of them and they're like, "Oh, no, don't shoot me!" They run away because they're babies.
Yep.
They're just dork ass kids. There was also a pretty dog in this movie, until it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, typical Michael fashion. He always kills a dog.
I don't even think he ate this one. I think he just killed it.
Yeah.
He was just like, "Fuck this dog. I hate this fucking thing." But yeah, this I was pleasantly surprised overall by this one. I know it really tanks after this, but
5 is still good.
well, I'll be the judge of that.
Fuck you.
But no, 4 is good. I think the only real gripes I have are just like the fact that how Michael and Dr. Loomis survive, and then just the way Michael's. There's a couple of issues I have with the way Michael's portrayed. But I mean, other than that, it's a pretty solid slasher. Like, it's nothing super special. It's nothing groundbreaking, but I don't think it really has to be. It's just an homage to the first one.
Did its job.
Yeah, it did the job, and it made a lot of money. it it received a lot of negative reviews, but
Fuck those
it
reviews.
made a lot of fucking money.
It's like we didn't really like 3 all that much, and then we read just nothing but positive reviews later.
Yeah, for 2 and 3. That was
Oh,
for
yeah,
both
yeah,
of
yeah.
them. Yeah. And you have people that like it ironically, but a lot of them were like genuine for 3 especially. But yeah, this movie made, I think, what was the box office on this one? Because it was enough to warrant a sequel. Because they weren't, I don't think they were gonna make a sequel right away. Wow, that I guess that was a lot of money in 1988. It made 17.8 million, and that's it. But on a budget of 5 million, that's a pretty big profit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they made that. Negative reviews, but now it's got like everything else in the franchise. It's got its big fans.
I think because of the recent ones, a lot of newer fans are going back and watching the older ones. They're getting fresher takes on it more than the people that like followed the first one as a thing. And it's like, this is the standard. Everything else is shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I liked it. I don't know if I'm ever gonna, go out of my way to buy it and own it, but I liked it. It was fun. It was a fun old time, like any good '80s slasher. Disposable characters.
All pretty likable too. I mean, I didn't really hate anybody in this movie or just wish they weren't on the screen for a time.
Yeah, surprisingly, no gratuitous nudity in the year of our Lord 1988, when it was all over Friday the 13th for the past like 7 years. But this one, yeah, you think it's gonna do it, but then it doesn't. And then her dad comes home and he's like, "Oh, if you grope my daughter, I'm gonna fucking shoot you, Brady." and then Brady's like, "All right, I guess that's my life." And then he gets his face smashed in anyway. It's fine. But yeah,
But hey, let's do our gore goblin thing and look at the kills
we already did
in
that,
more
though.
detail.
In more detail.
All of them.
So let me see. There was the
First, we
dude-
start with the ambulance
Yes.
and Michael jamming his thumb into the dude's head.
Yeah.
Decent looking effect.
Yeah, it's all practical because this is the '80s. This is before people learned they could CG stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean it's a good effect. It's not super graphic. That's the other thing. There's only like one really graphic kill in this one. All the others feel kind of I guess subdued because a lot of it's like off screen. I felt.
Well, the ambulance, the rest of the crew of the ambulance is off scene, but I mean, he left a pretty big mess in
Oh
there.
yeah, there was a
so
lot of blood on the walls.
Michael's not giving a fuck anymore. He's just
Yeah, he's mad. He wants to. He's like I was asleep for 10 fucking years.
yep. So after the ambulance, we get the kill of the guy in the garage. He just stabs with like a crowbar or
Yeah,
whatever.
and that one's off screen, and then they find his body chained up.
I guess he strangled the dude behind the counter or woman behind the counter.
Yeah,
That's what it looked like.
He either strangled her or slit her throat.
Yeah.
It was one of the two.
Then get the off-screen police massacre, which Jesus.
Yeah, like there's one dude who's missing like a chunk of his arm, and he had his throat slit. Like
It's like that. I think about that when I think about people complaining about Halloween Kills a part in that movie. When
yeah.
everyone bitches about like the firefighter scene, but
Yeah.
I mean we'll go into more detail when we get to that movie.
yeah,
But it's like Michael's been doing some pretty off the wall shit for a while. Like,
Yeah.
calm down.
yeah. He he really went off on him. I don't know how many people he killed in that police station, but he wiped out pretty much the whole station.
Yep.
And then after that, it's the
The deputy Logan
at the house, right?
Yeah, get the off screen kill of him,
And
then
his body's like all twisted, but
yeah.
like, I don't really know what he did. I'm gonna assume he like broke his neck or something.
Then he kills the sheriff's daughter.
With the
Also, very unsafe to be a sheriff's daughter in this world.
yeah, because poor Annie Brackett, my
What
sweet,
was the daughter's name? I can't remember.
my sweet Annie Brackett. I don't remember. Hold on, let me see if I can find that because I don't know her name.
Was it Karen and Kelly?
Kelly. I'm gonna say it's Kelly Meeker. Yeah, because the sheriff. Yeah, okay, that was Kelly. Kelly Meeker,
Yeah.
played by Kathleen Kinmont. What a name!
Mm-hmm.
That's she's only been in like, how many movies has she been in? Let's find out. She's been in a bunch of A bunch of bad horror movies. A bunch of them. Wow. Yeah. She was in Snake Eater 2, The Drug Buster. Oh, she was in Bride of Reanimator. Oh, she was in Bride of Reanimator. Yeah. Okay. She-Wolves of the Wasteland, classic film. Whatever the fuck this is. This looks awful. We got to watch this one at some point. This looks terrible. Anyway, yeah, she gets stabbed with the shotgun as a kind of homage to old Bobby in the first movie.
And I remember seeing a lot of people like really bitch about that scene, how it was so like impractical and stupid, and it's like blah blah.
It's a slasher.
Like, get
I'm
over
not- I'm
it.
not
You're
gonna care.
reading too much into it.
I'm not going to care about how Michael kills somebody in a movie where I'm going to see how he kills people. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then there's Brady getting his face smushed. Kind of. I get like he kind of like sticks his thumb in his cheek and then like
Just crushes his skull.
I think that's what he does. Yeah. But you don't see anything. You don't even see the body because then
Just
Michael
hear the bones cracking and whatnot.
Yeah, because then Michael just walks up and follows Rachel and Jamie to the roof. And then
And then his last kill of the movie was
his last 3, right? Because he kills
oh yeah,
all
the last
good old boys.
4.
4, yeah, because there's 3 in the bed of the truck, and then there's the dude driving.
Then he just stabs the 3 in the truck, and then smacks his hand through the window of the truck and rips that dude's head off.
He like digs his fingers like right under his jaw and just like and just
There
twists
you
it off. Yeah, that was rough. Poor guy. He was just doing his best, like all the others.
Worst kill is the innocent bystander that was just taken out by the posse. He didn't. Do
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, old Ted, whatever the fuck his name was. He was because like they see a branch move and then they just like in fucking Predator how they shoot through the jungle. It's like that scene where they just shoot this fucking park bench to pieces and they're like, oh hell, it's Ted. And it's just like, well,
Because I was like, I seen him. I seen his face.
yeah, I see his face. And I'm like, did you? I don't think you did. And then, but yeah, my favorite one was the dude getting his head ripped off. It's just a good effect. It's a really good. I love gooey practical effects, and that was a gooey one for sure.
That's why he likes the Thing prequel so much.
I don't like the prequel at all. It's not good. I watched it once, and then I'm gonna have to watch it again when we cover it, and I don't want to. But yeah, this felt like a good sequel. It was all right.
Yeah.
I don't hate it because like at this point in my life, it's like I like I'm not like opposed to watching just cheesy slashers from the 80s because they're fun in their own way. The worst thing a horror movie can be is boring, and this wasn't really boring. The second one, I felt like the second one was kind of boring, but this one for some reason didn't feel as boring. I know a lot of people put the second one above this one, but I mean,
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. No, I like this one. I like this one way more because this one felt more like the first movie, but just with some like 80s slasher like I guess
I think it's because also it didn't
Shades.
have the grudge that Carpenter had with doing another one.
yeah, so
he
it
wasn't
did-
involved.
Yeah, he wasn't involved to be like, man, fuck Michael. I'm gonna make him stupid. Like he wasn't there to do that. But yeah, as I've gotten older, like I've come to just kind of like, I guess not appreciate is the right word, but enjoy. Like just kind of turn my brain off and just be like, hey, I'm not gonna expect too much out of this movie. I'm just gonna watch it to have a good time and chat about it with my friend. And then we'll record it and put it on the internet so that way people can listen to it, I guess. That's what we do.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun. It's all fun. That's what I'm gonna say about like 90% of the movies we watch. It's fun, unless it's just bad. Then I'll
Unless
let
it's
you
just
know that
bad.
it's boring.
Don't worry, we have some bad ones.
I know. I don't want to think about it. But yeah, it's especially funny like going back and watching these after seeing Halloween and Halloween Kills, and seeing like all the homages, like the mechanic shop in Halloween, like that feels like a pretty direct homage to that. Although I like that sequence in Halloween better, and the 2018 Halloween better, just
Yeah.
because I really like that movie. So,
And I was kind of thinking too. It kind of feels like maybe that's where Rob Zombie took a lot of more of his inspiration from, rather than the first one.
the sequels,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. It kind of feels like it followed the pacing of 4 more than it tried to do the first one.
yeah. I guess I can see that. Man, I can't wait to
But they are bad anyway.
watch those. Oh boy. But yeah, I'm glad this movie still has an audience and still has. I'm glad Halloween has an audience.
Yeah, and it's getting new ones.
And it's getting new ones. Yeah, and yeah, surprisingly, the first part of the supposed Thorn trilogy isn't that bad. Because in the next one we get all the weird mystical shit, and then in the sixth one we especially get all the weird mystical shit. And the sixth one is the sixth one. But yeah, so what are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts? Like
Yes.
I said, I love this one. It's where I started with Halloween. Lots of good memories of every fucking Halloween leading up to, I guess, high school when I stopped watching cable pretty much. Gave us another great horror actress in Danielle Harris because she continued to do horror through her growing up. And even comes back into the Halloween movies, albeit not the greatest ones, but
That's
she
true,
came
yeah.
back.
She's in Rob Zombies. I forgot about that. I always forget about that.
She's in one of my other favorite franchises, Hatchet.
Yeah, which we're gonna get to eventually. But yeah, I think for my final thoughts, yeah, it was it felt like a good follow up to. It felt like a good not a follow, but a continuation of the franchise at the in retrospect, at least. I don't know if I had watched this in 1988. I don't know how I would have felt. But in retrospect, knowing what I know about the franchise now, it's it's a pretty good continuation given what was going on with the rights and everything. And it's a nice homage to the first one. It's got a lot of genuinely good moments in it. It has a jump scare that actually got me. I mean, for that alone, it gets praise.
Yep.
But yeah, it was fun. I like this one. I like this one more than the second one. I don't know if I wouldn't really put it close to the newer ones, but it's still good. It's still a good time. The best things about it are Danielle Harris and Donald Pleasance for sure. And Rachel's a good final girl too. So yeah, and the music was good.
Yeah, she's such a good final girl that something that happens in the next movie really pisses me off.
I know. I already know what it is. I already know. I remember that. But yeah, and the tone of this one was very. I liked the tone of it a lot too because it felt. I don't know. It doesn't feel. Even though the story was kind of goofy, it takes itself seriously enough to where I can kind of forgive it because the overall tone is like real like. I guess tense and ominous, and I love me some of that ominous tone.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that was pretty solid. Are there any final straws that we can grasp to talk about this movie for a little bit longer?
No, I think we've covered everything.
I don't think there's anything else because I know like as soon as I hit stop, I'm gonna think of something that I wanted to say, and then I'm gonna be mad because that happens every episode.
Yeah.
So like,
But hey, we're still trying to find our footing.
yeah, we're still.
If you've noticed, our episodes have seemed kind of weird in structure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We're seeing what feels more comfortable to do and just trying to get our thoughts out there in the smoothest way possible without having to sit there and go for like 10 seconds
Yeah.
before we say something.
Yeah, I think doing more of a freeform approach to it is really nice because then I don't feel like, I guess, constrained to have to talk about it a certain way. I can just talk about whatever.
Whatever our audience likes to, whichever they feel more connected with and makes more sense to them.
Whenever we get them.
Them.
Whenever they pop up. I'm not going to read comments but because then I'll get mad at myself because even if they're praise, I'm just going to be like, I don't deserve this. I'm just a guy on the internet. What do I deserve? But yeah, no, Halloween 4 is good. We're going to look at Halloween 5,
Revenge of Michael
Myers. Which is not a good one to a lot of people, except Justin. Justin likes it.
Because it's I'd always watch that one right after
Nostalgia.
4.
It's
So
it's that nostalgia that'll
got that
get you.
feeling.
Don't worry, we'll get to some nostalgic memories for me with some of these movies eventually. I think the Thing is going to be the only one that I really have any like strong memories from being a kid. But that's why I like that one so much. So yeah, that's Halloween 4. And this has been Gore Goblins, the 4th episode, and the next time will be the 5th episode, baby. It'll be here.
I like how we recorded the 4th one on the 14th.
That's it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's May 14th today.
We weren't going to be all the typical and be like, oh, we're going to record a horror movie episode on Friday the 13th. Nah, we got Saturday the 14th. That's Goblin Day.
That's Goblin Day, baby. Saturday, May 14th. Mark it down in your calendars. It's Goblin Day. It's going to be a national holiday one day.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's all we got for today. We'll be here next week jabbing about Halloween 5. Say goodbye, Justin.
Bye-bye.
Bye.